Ever feel like you need a little more fire in your life? Not literally, of course, but that spark of energy, that drive to create and transform. Well, today's deep dive might just have you feeling the heat, because we're looking at a ritual designed to invoke the element of fire. Specifically, we'll be unpacking the Invoking Pentagram Ritual of Fire document, a practice rooted in the Golden Dawn tradition.
That's right. And as you know, the Golden Dawn was all about symbolism and harnessing energy. So this ritual offers a fascinating glimpse into how they worked with the raw power of fire.
I'm intrigued by how this ritual sets the stage for connecting with fire. It's not like you just snap your fingers and boom, there's a bonfire. There's a very deliberate preparation phase.
Absolutely. The document emphasizes the importance of starting with relaxation and a specific breathing technique, the fourfold breath. It's all about clearing mental clutter and centering yourself. Then comes the Kabbalistic cross, which, rather than just being a physical gesture, is almost like a physical affirmation.
Okay, so you're touching your forehead, breast, shoulders, and then clasping your hands. Each movement paired with specific words. It's like you're physically mapping out a sacred space on your own body.
That's a fascinating way to put it. And each word, Ata, Malkuth, Vigabura, Vigedula. And finally, Leolam, Aann, likely holds deeper significance within the Golden Dawn system.
This makes me wonder if it's about aligning yourself with specific energies before invoking something as powerful as fire. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't just walk into a high-stakes meeting without prepping first.
I see what you mean. It's about establishing a foundation, a sense of balance and intentionality before calling upon those fiery forces.
Like, speaking of invoking, that's where the pentagrams come in. These lesser invoking pentagrams traced in the air. It's not just casual air drawing, though.
Yeah.
There's a very specific method to it.
Indeed, the document is very clear about that. You use your right index finger, a dagger, or a wand, starting in the east and moving to each cardinal direction, south, west, and north. And as you trace, you visualize white light flowing from your tool, charging the pentagram with energy.
So it's like you're literally drawing power into each direction.
And then you charge each pentagram further by piercing the center and vibrating the divine name ADNI. It's all about layering intention and power, building up to something bigger.
What I find interesting is that you keep your right arm extended throughout this whole process. Is it about maintaining a continuous flow of energy, like an unbroken circuit?
That's a great observation. It emphasizes the precision and focus required in this ritual. There's no room for sloppiness when you're dealing with such potent forces. Now hold on to your hats because the visual drama is about to get amplified. We're going to summon archangels.
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. Each direction is associated with a specific archangel, each linked to an element and a symbolic representation. It's like a cosmic roll call, but with an added layer of grandeur.
Starting in the east, you invoke Raphael, the archangel in air, visualized in flowing yellow and violet robes, carrying a caduceus wand. In the west, behind you, is Gabriel, the archangel of water, emerging from the sea in blue and orange robes, holding a cup.
I'm already captivated by these images. But why these specific archangels? What makes them crucial for fire invocation?
That's where the symbolism gets really fascinating. Notice how we have both air and water represented, which are seemingly opposite to fire, yet there's a subtle connection. Air fuels fire, allowing it to grow, while water can temper and control it.
So it's not just about invoking raw fire, but rather about working with it in balance, harnessing its potential within a larger framework.
Exactly. And now, turning to the south, we meet Michael, the archangel of fire, clad in flaming red and green robes, wielding a sword. Finally, in the north, we encounter Uriel, the archangel of earth, rising from the vegetation in robes of citrine, olive, russet, and black, holding stems of ripened wheat.
It strikes me that each archangel is so vividly described. It's not just an angel wearing white. It's incredibly detailed and specific, almost as if these visualizations are meant to be more than just mental pictures.
I think you've hit on something important. These detailed visualizations aren't just for show. They're tools for connecting with the archangel's energies on a deeper level, for establishing a real resonance.
And of course, there are specific phrases used to call upon each archangel, each tailored to their attributes and the direction they represent. It's almost like a verbal handshake, a way of establishing connection.
Precisely. Now that we've prepared ourselves, drawn pentagrams, and called upon archangels, we arrive at the heart of the ritual, the prayer of the salamanders.
The salamanders, those elemental beings associated with fire. This prayer, recited while facing south, the direction of fire, is where we directly address the element itself. I'm curious about the language used here. How does it evoke the essence of fire?
The prayer is overflowing with powerful imagery. Fire is described as flashing fire, its insupportable glory, and the ceaseless streams of splendor that flow from it.
It feels like the prayer is going beyond just asking fire to do your bidding. It's more about acknowledging its inherent power and recognizing its spiritual significance. It's almost reverent.
You're right, it's not a master-servant dynamic. It's more about aligning oneself with fire's energy, about tapping into that burning aspiration for connection with the divine, which the prayer also mentions.
And I noticed that before and after this prayer, you perform the Philosopher's sign. I'm assuming that's another layer of symbolism within the Golden Dawn system.
Most definitely. There's always a deeper layer to uncover with the Golden Dawn. But before we get lost in the symbolic labyrinth, let's take a step back and consider what the document says about the purpose of this entire ritual.
Okay, so we've gone through this elaborate preparation, invocation, and prayer. What's the ultimate goal?
Well, the document explains that this is an adaptation of traditional Golden Dawn practices by the Sanctuary of Ma'at, presented as an introductory ritual for connecting with the fire element and its spiritual forces.
An introduction. It seems pretty involved for a starting point. Does that mean there are even more intricate fire rituals within the Golden Dawn system?
That's exactly what makes me so fascinated by this. We're potentially just scratching the surface here. It seems like they're giving you a taste, a foundation to build upon. And as you progress, the practices might involve more complex symbolism and deeper understanding.
It's almost like learning an instrument. You start with the basic notes and chords. And as you become more proficient, you can create more complex and nuanced music.
That's a perfect analogy. There's a sense of progression and depth here that really piques my curiosity. But for now, let's delve deeper into this introductory ritual and see what other gems we can unearth. It's remarkable how this ritual weaves together physical actions, visualization, and spoken word. It's not just a mental exercise or a series of gestures. It engages you on multiple levels.
It reminds me of a carefully choreographed dance, where every movement has a purpose building towards a powerful crescendo. But what's the ultimate aim of this dance? Why go through all this to connect with fire?
Well, fire is often associated with transformation, purification, passion, and willpower. It's the element of action, burning away obstacles and igniting change.
So someone practicing this ritual might be seeking to tap into those very qualities within themselves.
Precisely. They might want to overcome procrastination, fuel their creative spark, or find the courage to pursue their dreams. Imagine feeling that fire within, pushing you forward.
Or maybe even to connect with that primal energy that fire represents, that raw force of nature. It's captivating and a little bit dangerous all at once.
Exactly. There's a reason humans have been mesmerized by fire for millennia. It's both creative and destructive. And engaging with it ritually could be a way to tap into that duality within ourselves.
Now, you mentioned earlier that this ritual is an adaptation of a traditional Golden Dawn practice by the Sanctuary of Ma'at. I'm curious what this adaptation tells us about how magical traditions evolve.
It suggests that magical practices aren't static, frozen in time. They're living traditions that are reinterpreted and reshaped to fit different needs and perspectives. The Sanctuary of Ma'at might have simplified the original ritual, emphasized certain aspects, or even integrated elements from other traditions.
So even within a system like the Golden Dawn, known for its structure and specific practices, there's room for personal interpretation and evolution.
Absolutely, and I think that's important to remember when exploring any esoteric practice. It's not about blindly following a set of rules, but rather about finding what resonates with you and adapting it to your own understanding and path.
And this particular adaptation seems to be geared towards beginners, an entry point into the world of working with fire. It's like they're providing the basic tools and letting you explore from there.
That's what I find so intriguing. It suggests there's a whole world of deeper, more complex fire rituals within the Golden Dawn system. This is just the tip of the iceberg.
Like learning the alphabet before you can write a novel.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder what kind of fiery masterpieces those who are fluent in this language can create.
Speaking of fluency, I'm particularly struck by the emphasis on visualization throughout this ritual, the pentagrams, the archangels, even the essence of fire itself. It's all about conjuring vivid images in your mind's eye.
It's not just daydreaming, though. It feels like a deliberate act.
Yeah.
Almost like you're sculpting these images with your intention.
Exactly. Visualization is a key tool in many magical traditions. It's seen as a way to direct energy shape reality and connect with spiritual forces.
So in this ritual, you're not just asking for fire to appear. You're actively creating its presence through visualization.
That's a powerful concept. It speaks to the idea that we are active participants in shaping our reality. that we have the power to influence the world around us through our thoughts, intentions, and actions.
It's almost like you're acting as a conduit, drawing those fiery energies into existence through the power of your mind.
Precisely. And that brings me back to the choice of focusing on the salamanders in this adaptation. While the Golden Dawn worked with a complex hierarchy of deities and entities, here the emphasis seems to be on the raw elemental force of fire itself.
So it's like stripping away the extra layers, getting to the core of the element before introducing more intricate symbolism or mythology.
Exactly. It's about establishing a direct connection with fire, understanding its nature and energy in a visceral way.
It makes me think about those rituals in various cultures where people dance with firewalks on hot coals or even jump through flames. It's a very primal, almost instinctual connection.
There's definitely a parallel there. It's about facing your fears, pushing your boundaries, and transforming yourself through that direct interaction with fire's power.
Now, while this document focuses on the positive aspects of fire, transformation, passion, willpower, I can't help but wonder about the potential downsides. Fire can also be destructive and chaotic. Is there a way to mitigate those risks in a ritual like this?
That's a crucial point. It's about approaching these practices with respect and awareness, understanding that fire is a powerful force that demands careful handling.
So it's not just about what you can do, but about what you should do. There's a responsibility that comes with working with such potent energies.
Absolutely. The document emphasizes preparation focus and intentionality. It's about cultivating a mindset of respect for the element and understanding the potential consequences of your actions.
It's like learning to handle a powerful tool. You need to know how to use it safely and effectively, or it can easily backfire.
Exactly. And that's something that any responsible practitioner of these arts needs to keep in mind. It's about balanced discernment and a deep understanding of the forces you're working with.
So while this ritual might be an introduction to fire, it also seems to hint at the deeper complexities and responsibilities that come with working with such a potent element.
It certainly does, and it makes me even more curious about the advanced practices and the deeper levels of understanding that lie beyond this introductory stage.
Which is perhaps a good place to pause and let our listeners digest all this information. When we return, I want to explore the potential applications of this ritual and how we can connect these ancient practices to our modern lives. It's incredible how much depth we've uncovered. In what's essentially presented as an introductory ritual, there's so much symbolism and nuance packed into each step.
It really speaks to the intricacy of the Golden Dawn system
Yeah.
and their approach to working with elemental energies. Every gesture, every word, every visualization is infused with meaning.
It makes you wonder what lies beyond this introductory level. What might those who are more adept at these practices be capable of achieving?
That's a question that sparks my curiosity as well. If we consider the broader context of the Golden Dawn, they were renowned for their elaborate rituals and complex system of correspondences between elements, planets, and other forces.
So this ritual could be just a glimpse into a much vaster system of knowledge and practice.
Precisely. It's like they're providing a foundation, a taste of what's possible as you progress. The rituals might become more elaborate, the symbolism more intricate, and the level of understanding required even deeper.
I'm reminded of those ancient mystery schools, where initiates gradually ascended through different levels of initiation, gaining access to more profound knowledge and practices as they progress.
There's definitely a parallel there. It's a journey of continual discovery and deepening understanding, rather than a quick fix or a one-time event.
Now, I want to shift gears a bit and explore the potential applications of this ritual. We've talked about transformation, passion, willpower, but how might someone integrate these practices into their daily life?
That's where the rubber meets the road, so to speak. While some people might approach this ritual purely for spiritual growth and self-exploration, others might seek more tangible benefits.
So could someone use this ritual to, let's say, overcome a creative block, boost their confidence, or even attract more opportunities into their life?
That's where things get a bit more speculative. It depends on your perspective and beliefs about the nature of magic and its ability to influence events.
Some might believe in the direct, tangible power of magic to manifest specific outcomes, while others might see it as a way to align themselves with certain energies or intentions, which could then indirectly lead to desired results.
Exactly. It's about working with the subtle forces of the universe, rather than trying to force things to happen through sheer willpower.
It's like the difference between rowing a boat upstream versus setting your sail and letting the wind guide you toward your destination.
That's a beautiful analogy. It highlights the importance of surrendering to the flow, trusting in the process, and aligning yourself with the energies that support your goals.
So, rather than thinking of this ritual as a magic spell to make things happen instantly, it's more about cultivating a mindset, a way of being in the world that is conducive to transformation and growth.
Precisely. It's about tapping into the power of fire to fuel your passions, ignite your creativity, and burn away any obstacles that stand in your way.
As we wrap up our deep dive into the Invoking Pentagram ritual of fire, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. We've explored the steps, the symbolism, the potential applications, but ultimately, the most profound insights come from personal experience.
I couldn't agree more. It's about taking this knowledge, adapting it to your own understanding, and experimenting with these practices to discover what resonates with you.
So, if you're feeling drawn to the element of fire and its transformative power, I encourage you to explore this ritual, to delve into its depths, and see what sparks ignite within you.
And remember, the journey of self-discovery is often a fiery one, filled with challenges and triumphs. Embrace the heat, trust the process, and allow yourself to be transformed by the power of fire.
Until next time, deep divers, keep those inner flames burning brightly.